G edit. What the fuck? I'm about to kick fucking realistic soccer, bro. Realistic soccer Street Fighter. Yes, queen! Yes, queen! I'm cooking! We fucking suck. I heard about that. I heard about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Oh, go.
You're okay. We're gonna get you some food and water.
Yet. Nigga. Nigga.
There you go. Time to get the new stray kitty we found its first bath.
Yeah, I won't punch
Before
it.
we do that, this kitty is definitely infected with some ringworm or scabies. So luckily,
Low key, guys, I am so good at this game. I'm totally not. Well, I can't say. Guys, I'm so freaking good at this game, is what I was gonna say.
batter you up like some butter toast. Let's clean your little ears. Let's clean your little hands. Now this is the best part. Yeah, look at all these bugs that came off you. Look at all the little bugs that are coming off you. Look at all the bugs you got. You that's it. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, now it's time to be wrapped in the kitty burrito. Let's wrap you up in the burrito. It's a burrito time. Yay. Okay, look at my little baby burrito. Let's wrap your face. Well, guys, let me know in the comments. What should we name this new stray kitty?
Hey, over here!
How does this guy have a good armor? Nuclear dinosaur is crazy. A Neruski Nigarastu. My dream is a LeGrande. I have a LeGrande. By the way, guys, my brother is right next to me. He's right now beating his friends up and still a brain rot, is what I was gonna say. So I believe nothing else. My damn ear, I forgot I have an ear infection. I pressed the cancel on accident. Sorry about that.
You won't believe it. When you bring your cat to school, you better keep your shoes. Just at number 3, Tom finally caught Jerry during class.
Okay.
Johnny thought he was the smartest kid in second grade. He spent all the time with Sometimes, I'm not you second. Only so much. We'll report Tuesday morning.
Turn for my phone.
Oh, my poor baby. Well, nothing to worry. I'll call you into school. Stay home. Get some rest. Okay. He felt like he pulled off the heist of a century. Spent all day playing video games. Sleep to himself. Goes back to school. Walks in like a king. Some guys in the second building. Stops. Floors are extra shiny. Everyone's huddled in different groups, watching a video on their phone.
I'm not touching
friends.
you.
Yo, what's up?
I'm not trying to.
The most baby sick. Apparently, during third period the day before, there was supposed to be a routine fire drill. But it wasn't just the alarm that went off. Something malfunctioned, and the sprinklers in the main hallway went off. I'm talking gallons and gallons and gallons of water hitting those floors. One kid even took the bathroom soap and sprayed it on the floors as the sprinklers were coming down. It's the slide! The best part was, it was 100 degrees outside. This felt awesome. Teachers were sliding, the principal slipped, the little kid from class used a lunch tray as a boogie board. Everybody went home soaking wet. So the best is, that's all anyone talks about.
Now let me cook. By the way, I just made a new channel for my brother. It is called Xavier the Artist. No, I'm not showing it. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm talking to absolutely no one. No one's even in here. Only one here again. Yay. Sure, I was making a video for him.
Hey, over here!
Gooby, don't blame yourself. There we go, all better now.
Ew, what the fuck? Ew, what the fuck?
Don't blame yourself.
My bad, I'm watching a video right now. Ew, what is that? Ugh.
So fascinating.
Hey, over here!
So fascinating.
Oh, shit.
So fascinating. So
Brazil beats America so easily. I'm gonna let them score a goal.
Yellow, and red, okay? Traffic light. Yeah, traffic light. And when I snap, green, yellow, red. So if I snap, it should be red, green, and yellow. Green, yellow, red. You did it wrong. No, I didn't. I'm going to what you said.
Victory.
Green,
Yes, queen.
yellow.
Yes, queen. Oh, fuck no. I'm the MVP.
Yeah, traffic light. And when I snap, green, yellow, red. So if I
Oh,
snap,
yeah.
it should be red, green,
Victor.
yellow, green.
Oh,
No, I didn't. I'm going to what you said.
yeah.
Green,
Murder. Murder.
yellow.
Murder.
Did you know why this spider hides under the sand? Because this is a camel spider, and it buries itself underground to ambush
Hey,
its
over
prey.
here.
As soon as a beetle gets too
It's so hard. My bad, I was just crashing out a little. I'm totally not gonna kill someone.
At 11:02 p.m. on a Friday night in the emergency room when I was washing my hands after my last patient. Swung open, and the paramedics' voices were incredibly sharp. Gunshot victim, code red, all hands on deck. 3 paramedics rushed in a man with his blood-soaked shirt wide open, exposing a gunshot to his stomach. I quickly dried my hands, slipped
Mama.
I stood in the backyard, flipping burgers and listening to the laughter of close friends. My wife Sarah happily poured iced tea for everyone, while our daughter Ellie slept peacefully in her crib. But out of
I need a ship.
But out of the corner of my eye, I saw a man I had never seen before reach down with both hands and lift Ellie out of her crib. I tensed up because I had never seen this man in my life. I walked over to him. Hey, what are you doing? She was sleeping. The stranger flashed an eerie grin, then sarcastically muttered, "Oh, was she?" I was confused. Sarah came over and was also staring at him. I whispered to Sarah, "Do you know this guy?" She shook her head. No. I stepped closer to a strange man. Put her back in the crib. My friends touched themselves. Didn't notice anything weird. The man held my daughter closely to his chest and rocked her back and forth. Don't worry about anything, Mike and Sarah. Ellie's in very good hands. My stomach turned with fear, and Sarah's face went pale white. I started to walk toward him to try and get my baby away from him, but he moved back. I wouldn't do that after all. I got enraged, clenched my fists. If you take another step towards me, today will turn into the worst day of your life. I froze.
Yes, Queen! Yes, Queen! Yes, Queen!
Department is on the way. Everyone needs to leave right now, and make sure you put on your best smile. My fists were trembling. If you don't tell them to leave right now, the pennies little Peach will pay. My hands trembled with murderous rage. Then I nodded to Sarah, signaling that she should do what he said. She turned to the party and got their attention. I'm so sorry, everyone. The gas company has called. There's a leak somewhere in the area, and they want everyone off the property until they can check it. Sorry. My friends groaned and moaned, then quickly left. The strange man smiled at my friends as he bounced Ellie on his hip and sang, "Rocka my baby on the treetop." I'm here. Don't lie to her like that. How do you know everything's gonna be okay? I lost my patience. Why don't you quit your game? Tell us what the hell you want. I'd love to. My name's Dorian. 6 months ago, I was working out of a sweatshop in Pennsylvania. We ran phone scams, old people mostly, pretending to be the IRS, that kind of thing. One day I called your pretty little wife. Sarah stiffened beside me. But Sarah is special because her dumbass stop my hands from shaking. My mother had to bail me out. She was so ashamed of me all the years. And there's nothing I hate worse than letting down my mother. I was alarmed to hear that. Clearly this guy's psycho. Mother had to spend $40,000 to bail me out. 2 days after I got out, she slapped me across the face so hard that my lips started bleeding. I hate it when she does that. I had to swear to her that I would pay her back, and I will. He glared at Sarah. You owe me $40,000. He glared at Sarah. You owe me $40,000 in cash, right now, or you'll be an LTD within the week. Panicked, raging thoughts pounded through my
Hey, over
head.
here!
Then I quickly formed a plan. I calmly put my hands out towards him, trying to disarm him. Okay, take it easy. We have a safe upstairs, and there's about that much cash in it. Let's use both of our fingerprints to open it. Then once and out of his line of sight, she started to pace frantically as tears formed. This guy's a psycho. What are we gonna do? Listen, I need you to take a deep breath and hear me out. I'm going to give him a duffel bag filled with toilet paper rolls and make him use cash. As soon as I hand it to him and he opens it up, I'll dive low and take out his legs. You grab Ellie out of his hands. Got it? She shook with terror, and I grabbed her shoulders. Sarah, I need you to be strong right now. Can you hear me? She nodded. Good. Ellie's going to be okay, and I'm gonna tear this bastard's limbs off. But for right now, we need to stay composed and execute the plan. I steadied myself, holding the duffel bag with toilet paper. She gritted her teeth, and we stepped out to sea. He was gone. I panicked, rushed out front to see him standing near a black sedan with Ellie in his arms. Leave the cash right here in front of me. I slowly walked over to him and set down the duffel bag. Sarah followed closely behind me. Then he pulled out a handgun, and I hesitated. My plan might have to change from that. He knelt down, kept the gun on me, and unzipped it. My anger boiled over, and I slapped the gun out of his hand, lowered my shoulder, and tackled him into the side of his black sedan. Sarah was right beside me, and grabbed Ellie out of his hands before he hit the ground. Dorian went down hard on his back onto the concrete. I got on top of him. You messed with the wrong family, you piece of crap. I slammed as many right hooks and straight left punches across his face as I could. My rage was boiling as every hit bounced his head off of the asphalt. He was unconscious in about 5 seconds, and my fists crunched into him. Even after he was out cold, I kept swinging. I heard loud pops and crunches, and then saw his neck was laying in a crooked fashion against the curb. I finally stopped, glanced at my bloodied up knuckles. I wasn't sure if he was bleeding. Right? Stop. Are you alright? I nodded, still trying to catch my breath. Sarah held Ellie, who was softly crying on her shoulder, and I felt shame and embarrassment, having done what I just did in front of my baby. One of my fears was my I Sarah held her tight. It's alright, no one is hurt. Sarah stared down until my shoulder. I got her attention. Call your dad, Sarah. We're gonna need help with this. Why? Because I heard his neck snap at one of the punches, and it doesn't look good. Sarah's eyes bulged with terror. Then she quickly called her father. I made sure none of our neighbors could see him, and laid a blue tarp over him, so no one could see him. So by, Sarah hung up the phone. He's on his way, and he's bringing him help. He said, don't touch him. I felt crazy and ready to go. Got exhausted for the men inside were not in uniform, and they were older, around Frank's age. They looked at me, and then down at Dorian, and at the pistol in the grass. Shortly thereafter, Frank arrived with his new wife, Diane. She took Sarah and Ellie into the house, while Frank came down, grabbed Dorian, felt the back of his neck, and let out a sigh. I got really nervous. What is it? Steady focus. Not sure how bad. I felt satisfied. Travel up my spine. Do you think they'll come for us? Unfortunately, I do. Shit. What can we do? I'm not sure. It's not enough to trigger witness protection. All I can say is, watch your back. I immediately called Frank. Did you know Dorian was connected to crime? I had no idea. I thought it was strange that Frank didn't know that. I poured myself a drink and grew really fearful because I don't think this is over. 2 nights later, Sarah and I got Frank and Diane to babysit while we went out to dinner. We ate at an Italian place downtown. On the way home, we reached a stretch of street that wasn't industrial area. I noticed a white man following us. My throat tightened. My hands gripped tighter around the wheel. Then I looked back in the rearview mirror and saw the white van come up right behind us and slam into our back. Hold on. Our car spun out of control. I took the wheel, slammed into a metal railing and flung back and forth. I smacked my nose into the wheel while Sarah's head cracked against the dashboard. Our car hit a speed bump, then flipped over onto its roof. The The world was upside down, fading in and out of darkness. Then I finally woke up and groaned in pain. I looked over at an unconscious Sarah, saw that she was completely lifeless, and I trembled in panic. Sarah, can you hear me? Come on, babe. Please answer me. She slowly woke up, and her eyes blinked several times. We both saw the headlight of a car through the side mirror behind us, and three men wearing ski masks approached us with guns. I anxiously searched for anything I might be able to use as a weapon, and found nothing. I was horrified because it looked like these guys were coming to finish the job. The man on my side aimed his gun down at me. Use your phones and call out. You're coming with us. I was momentarily relieved that he didn't just end us right then and there. Sarah took her cell phone and quickly put it down on the wall. The doors were opened as two men in ski masks cut off our seatbelts with a hunting knife and dragged us out. All the blood had rushed to my head, and I felt a sharp pain in my lower back from the wreck. My head was pounding, and I saw some blood trickling down onto my eyelids. We zip-tied our hands in front, then threw black hoods over our heads. I couldn't see anything but shapes through the dark wall. Then I heard Sarah, please don't hurt us. Money if that's what you want. I was anguished hearing Sarah pleading like that.
Alright, this game is fucking boring. Freaking boring.
It's gonna be okay, Sarah. We got shoved into the back of a van that smelled like motor oil and old carpet. My shoulder hit the steel flooring, and I felt Sarah land beside me. The van started, and my mind was racing in a panic. What did they want with us, and where the hell were they taking us? A man's voice spoke out from the front. Boss lady is pissed at these fools. Yeah, this one should be extra bloody. I felt my guts turn over in terror. This was payback, and if we didn't escape, we were dead. We're going to take a little drive. Better enjoy it because it will be your last. I was well beyond panicked, and my drive for survival kicked in hard. I started feeling for any part of the zip ties to see if I could somehow escape. I heard Sarah crying and breathing heavily, so I put my head against hers, trying to signal that I was here for her. I felt the van move quickly, then slow down at intersections. I felt it speed up again and tried to count turns and distances, but lost track. Sarah whispered, "My phone." Our hands were tied in the front, so I could reach into her bra. And lifted her hood just enough so she could see the screen. I heard the soft click of her tapping the screen as the trunk faintly lit up. She tapped a name, then held the phone awkwardly between her shoulder and her ear. Frank picked up on the first ring. "Sarah?" She spoke in barely a whisper. "Daddy." Her voice cracked. "We've been taken. Track us." The man called out. "Shut the hell up." My entire body was trembling, and all I could do was take long, deep breaths and try to control my fear. I thought of how I might try and escape as soon as we get out. After about 10 minutes, the van stopped and the back doors opened. Hands yanked us out and the hoods came off. We got shoved down to our knees. I adjusted my eyes and saw that we were in an empty warehouse. The three men stood in a half circle around us, rifles slung over their shoulders. Then a Rolls Royce pulled up into the warehouse, and a black-haired woman stepped out of it. She was small, maybe 50 years old, with a long dark coat and leather gloves. She glared down at us. I was really confused because I had never seen this woman in my life. "So you two bastards are the ones responsible for crippling my only son." I felt a surge of terror roll through me. This woman wanted vengeance. I had to try some kind of tactic to get through to her. "Did you know what your son did to us?" "I don't care because whatever he did, he didn't deserve what you did to him. He held our 9-month-old baby captive because he wanted $40,000. She smiled as if she was proud. "What can I say? He's always been a very resourceful kid. I couldn't help myself." "Is that why he worked as a scammer in a sweatshop?" "He chose to do that because he wanted his own independence. He was rebelling against his father, and he was trying to break away from the family business and prove that he could do his own thing. He failed, just like I knew he would. Enough talk of the past. I'm going to give you two life-altering choices. Since you're the one that crippled my son, you will be the one to choose. Your wife will either die tonight or go and work in a sweatshop in India in the rice paddies for the rest of her life. Your choice." At first, I thought she was actually kidding. Then my neck stiffened when I realized that she wasn't. And if you're thinking that she might be able to escape, she won't. We have armed guards that surround the rice fields and shoot anyone that tries to run. I closed my eyes for a few moments. This was beyond even my worst nightmare. Choice number 2. You're gonna have to choose between your life or your baby's life. My anxiety shot through the roof. Then I glared at this bitch. If it's between my baby and myself, that's not even a choice. I'll choose my child's survival any day. Okay, fine. One choice has been made. Now what about your wife? She's had nothing to do with this. This was all on me. So I'm asking you, please let her go. She never hurt your son. Just punish me, not her. Please. Absolutely not. You turned one of my loved ones into a freaking vegetable. You will feel what it's like to lose someone you love, just like I have. She nodded to one of her men. It's time for him to choose. The man stood right in front of me and aimed his rifle at my face. My blood boiled over with rage and fear. Sarah wept. Don't worry about me. I'll be their slave. It's okay. Hell no. What are you talking about? I can't lose you. I didn't know what to do or say. I will give you 3 seconds. 3. I froze in panic. 2. I hesitated and mumbled incoherently as the gunman cocked his rifle and stuck the barrel against my head. Sarah wept harder. Please, don't do this. Your son was the one that brought this nightmare to our doorstep, not us. Sarah was right, but this crazy bitch didn't care. It's time to choose, death or slavery. 1. Time's up. I shook my head and trembled, at a loss. I saw the gunman start to pull the trigger, then I heard Frank's voice. Put your guns down right now. The 3 armed men aimed their rifles at Frank, who held a handgun and was on his own. The cops are 2 minutes behind me. Just put the guns down and no one's gonna get hurt. I was momentarily relieved, but scared that he wouldn't be able to take down all 3 men. The woman stepped out of the shadows towards Frank. Hello, Frank. Frank was shocked when she said that. I froze with even more panic. How do you know his name? Oh, he didn't tell you? Frank here's been taking payouts from our organization for over 20 years. Sarah and I were horrified. Sarah's eyes squinted at Frank. Is that true? Frank hesitated long enough to let us know that it was the truth. Look, I'll explain everything later. Right now, you need to let them go and get out of here before the cops come. The woman smiled. You never called any cops. Stop bluffing. I've known you for 20 years, asshole. I can smell a lie a mile away. Frank held his gun as the 3 men kept their rifles aimed at him. The woman got in Frank's face. Since tonight is a wonderful game of choices, I'd like to use this opportunity to test a father's love for his daughter. Frank's face turned pale. Look, Eleanor, this isn't the time. I think it's exactly the time. How much money do you want to walk away and leave your daughter for dead? Name your price. Frank shifted around nervously. Don't make me choose. Sarah was betrayed. Disgusted, Eleanor got closer to Frank and put the barrel of his gun down. How much for the life of your daughter? Give me a number. He stared down at the ground, then quietly said, 5 million in cash. Sarah lunged up and tried to kick him, enraged. She screamed, You're dead to me, you piece of shit. No wonder Mom left you. The gunman held her back and shoved her down to her knees. I was so pissed when I thought of all the times I helped this man and treated him like family. Eleanor was loving every second of this. I must say, I don't get surprised very often, but I am the... Hey, look here. You can watch over 9,000 movies and TV shows for free. Just have all these songs in my head. Just gotta get them out.
He's the school bully, my sworn enemy. We fight every time we break the same hair. Then I picked up his phone and saw a secret draft.
I don't get surprised very often, but I am this time. Choosing cash over your own flesh and blood. Impressively vicious. Maybe you should come and work for me. He stared down at the ground in shame. Do we have a deal or not? No. I just wanted to destroy your family, and you did that all by yourself. I'm not giving you a penny. Frank turned red with rage, then raised his gun, and I heard, pop, pop. The 2 gunmen put bullets in him and ended Frank. Sarah was staring down at him in shock. Then I quickly used the opportunity of them aiming at Frank to grab her hand, and we both took off running towards the back entrance.
Ah! Okay, yes or no? Yes or no?
The hand, and we both took off running towards the back entrance. Clack, clack, clack. Gunshots rattled out behind us and found stopping the
Bye.
house walls. I felt 2 bullets whiz past my head and ran faster. We rushed out of the main area of the warehouse, then down a hallway and into a large area of cubicles. The 3 gunmen were approaching us fast, and we ran further in and ducked down behind a desk in a cubicle. My palms were sweating as my heart pounded. I signaled for Sarah to be as quiet as possible, then saw a pair of scissors, grabbed it, and cut off our zip ties. I held the scissors in my hand as a weapon, and then waited. I heard one of the men whisper, "Split up." I clutched onto my scissors, peeked around the edge of the cubicle wall, and saw one of the men approaching us. He didn't see us, so I lifted the scissors and got ready for combat. He got closer, closer, closer. Then, as he got right next to our cubicle, he stopped. I held my breath and stayed as still as possible. If he took another step, I was going to attack. Then he quickly spun around the edge of our cubicle and aimed his gun at us. He knew we were there. I smacked his gun barrel out of our faces as he fired a shot. I lunged up and stuck the scissors into his midsection. As we fell, I covered his mouth so he couldn't call out for the others. His eyes bulged as he felt the knife inside him, then drifted away. We ducked down and rushed out of the back door and saw nothing but miles and miles of thick woods in front of us. I slammed the door shut behind us to buy us some time, and we took off running into the woods. Now we were in my terrain. I had grown up hunting with my dad, so I welcomed these assholes to chase us. I found the first oak tree and hid Sarah underneath some brush. I climbed the nearest perch of branches, aimed the rifle, and waited. I saw the first man approaching my position. He had no idea where I was. I focused the scope, caught him in the crosshairs, let out a slow, controlled breath, and pulled the trigger. He was gone before he hit the ground. His last remaining buddy heard the shot and carefully approached his friend's position. He was smarter, saw me up in the tree, and fired 2 shots that almost got me. I jumped down the tree and heard 2 more shots go off right behind me. Ah, shit! I took off running, unsure of how close he was behind me. Another bullet whizzed by me. Son of a bitch! Then another bullet bounced off the tree next to me, and I ran a few hundred feet and saw the entrance to a cave. I snuck in, waited right by the entrance to the right. He rushed in, gun aimed, and I had a bullet waiting for him. It was really dark, but the muzzle fire from my rifle revealed his position and his fate. He hit the cave floor, gone. I grabbed his rifle, took out the bullets, and headed back towards where Sarah was hidden. I arrived and saw that she wasn't there. My heart sank. I tasted a bitter fear and clenched my fists in frustration. Did Eleanor find her? Did she kill her? I searched everywhere and couldn't find her at all. I made my way back to the warehouse, slammed open the door in a panic, and saw Eleanor holding Sarah by the back of her neck, and she had a gun to her head. I aimed my rifle, trying to get a clean shot. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Put your gun down, or your wife gets it. I was terrified for Sarah. I knew I only had one chance to save her, and I couldn't do that by lowering my gun. Eleanor saw me hesitate and yelled out. I said, "Put it down right now." I aimed again, then thought of some way I could signal to Sarah to duck down. I didn't need to, because Sarah had such a wild-eyed, vicious gaze in her eyes and wasn't going to let this old bitch take us down. She waited for Eleanor to look away, then gripped onto her wrist and bit down so hard it caused her to drop the gun and wail out in pain. Ah! I didn't hesitate. I fired one clean shot and sent the evil twat to the fiery halls of hell. I made sure there was no one else, then pulled Sarah in close. We hugged and shed a few tears of relief. "I'm so sorry about your dad. Don't be. He deserved what he got." We stepped out, found Sarah's cell phone, and called the police. They arrived and we took them through everything that happened. When they saw Eleanor and identified her, they were celebrating like they won the lottery. She was on the FBI's most wanted list for the last 27 years. They all congratulated me, but I didn't care. I just wanted to go and pick up Ellie and go home. A few hours later, Sarah and I drove by Frank and Diane's house to pick up Ellie, and we were both afraid of what we would tell Diane about who Frank really was. We knocked on the front door and saw that it was partially open. We entered and saw that the whole place was empty, and Diane had packed up her bags and taken Ellie. She was gone. Sarah and I shared a terrified look.
Alexa,
At 6 a.m., my phone blared, jolting me up. I knew the sound. It was an alarm bell for another fire, and my crew chief, Mari, who also happens to be my wife, sprang up to her feet and flung on her jacket. 15 acres burning, choppers waiting. Let's go, let's go. Within 12 minutes, we were soaring through the skies on our way towards a firestorm. I was horrified because this fire was unnatural. The forest was still wet, meaning the blaze was man-made. We landed at 7 a.m. and hopped out as quickly as we could, lugging our gear. It was myself, Mari, my best friend Diego, and the rookie, Tate. The smoke engulfed our lungs before we could put on our gas masks. We were several feet away from the burning cinders when Mari read her iPad and barked out commands. Red flag at 6 a.m. tomorrow. 50-mile-an-hour east winds. 8% humidity. If this is still burning when those winds hit, 15 acres becomes 15,000 by lunch. We only have 23 hours to contain this. Start digging out a perimeter. Now. I started digging and thought of the houses that were 3 miles down the ridge. Houses, families with kids that are sleeping right now. It was up to us to protect them. We dug and dug, clearing out the brush. My back was on fire as sweat poured into my gas mask. Diego was 20 feet to my left running the chainsaw, cutting a break, sweat coming through his jacket in dark patches. Mari called distances. Tate wouldn't shut up. Then Diego's chainsaw screeched to a halt. He killed the engine and stared down at the ground in shock. I knelt down and scraped. I found a vent pipe, then another, then plastic tubing, the kind that doesn't belong in a forest, snaking under the moss. I followed it a foot down with my fingers, and my knuckles hit steel. I scraped harder and discovered a shipping container, buried, way the hell out here, miles away from any roads. Leaves rustled behind me. I turned around and saw 4 Latin men step out from behind a tree with rifles aimed at us. They looked like some type of mercenaries wearing mismatched tactical gear. The heavy-set one stepped up, looked directly at me, and smiled as if he was excited that he would have a chance to kill. Behind him stood a tall, lean, calculating Mexican. He was eerily still and didn't carry a rifle. He had a small pistol on his hip and a little black notebook in his shirt pocket. He didn't speak. The heavy man kept glancing back at him and said, "Patron Salvador, Los Cabramos." I was confused, but realized he just called Salvador his boss. Then it hit me. They were cartel. We had heard back at the firehouse about them having drug labs hidden deep in the woods, but never really believed it. The heavy-set one started patting us down one by one, searching for anything that could be used as a weapon. Tate, our big talker, couldn't help himself. "Amigos, what up? So look, there's no need to get violent. We can all be friends here. We're just simple firefighters. We're not policia. We will leave you to your business." They all stared at him, already getting annoyed. I tapped him, trying to signal for him to shut up. He shoved my hand away as if he knew better. "I got this, bro. Where are you guys from in Mexico? You like tacos? I'm a burrito fan myself. How is it being badass cartel guys? Must be so sick." As he was yapping, he had secretly turned on his radio, hoping headquarters was listening in on the conversation. I dated a Mexican chica once. Damn, was she saucy. The heavy-set man's eyes darted down and saw Tate's radio light was on. He realized what Tate was doing and told the leader. I was terrified that he would do something bad, so I tried to step in. "Please, let us live. We haven't seen anything here, and we don't want any trouble." Salvador gave a small, indifferent nod to the heavy-set guy, which prompted him to raise his rifle and end Tate. My heart sank as I immediately thought of his wife and 2 little kids. My wife got grabbed by a Mexican cartel guy with a mohawk and was being dragged towards the shipping container. My blood boiled when I thought about what they might do to her. Another cartel guy with a long scar on his face shoved Diego down to his knees and stuck his rifle against the back of his head. It was obvious that the decision had already been made to execute all of us. I looked down at Tate's body, and then I looked at the line of trees behind me. I quickly pulled my wife aside and whispered, "I'm gonna escape and come back for you. I don't see another way." She nodded, giving me the permission that I needed. Then within half a second, I made the decision. I dove over a rotten tree log and rolled down a steep area of brush as bullets rattled out towards me from all 3 cartel guys, clipping the bark behind me and whizzing past my head. Free movies and live TV. Try it now. kept tumbling, I was able to look back and see Salvador standing up on the ridge, glancing down at me with a smirk, as if he was being entertained. I hit the bottom of the canyon hard, slammed my ribs, quickly scrambled up, and took off running for my life. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs went rubber, and then I ran some more. When I felt like I was momentarily in the clear, I tried to gather myself. I was surprised to see flashes of what they might be doing to my beautiful wife and childhood friend Diego haunted my mind. I wished that I could have been heroic and somehow saved them. They had 4 rifles. We're not military. We don't carry guns. I honestly didn't see another way to survive in that moment and then make a plan to rescue them. But the guilt of thinking I could have done more to help them will haunt me forever. My guts burned with what I just witnessed, but I didn't have any time to mourn. I needed to quickly make a plan. I had my fire axe. I had my foil tent fire shelter. I had 2 road flares, a quart of water, a folding knife, and a radio with a cracked screen from the fall. I found a thicker area of tree cover and tried the radio in a panicked whisper. It's Reyes. Anyone there? Over. Nothing. This is Reyes. Can anyone hear me? Over. A strange crackling sound came out of it, and I couldn't tell if anyone was there. Then it cut out. I made my way around the perimeter of the fire and climbed up a ridge as quietly and slowly as possible so I could get a view on the cartel. I found a lookout spot perched behind a tree and saw them shoving Diego and Mari into the cargo container. I was relieved to see they were alive, but feared what they were planning to do with them. They started loading boxes and equipment from inside the meth lab onto pallets, which meant they were going to probably chopper out the important parts of the drug lab before the firestorm hit, and let the wildfire erase everything they couldn't carry out. I think this was how they were covering their tracks, but all of this was new to me, so I really wasn't sure. Salvador stood apart from the others on a flat rock, speaking into a satellite phone. At around 2:30, Salvador called over a scout, pointed down to where I had run away, then pointed directly up at me. I thought I was slick, but he had been watching me the whole time and knew exactly where I was. Salvador handed his scout a rifle and gave him instructions. I watched the scout break off from the group, head down the mountain, and start hunting for me. I watched the scout closely, and then noticed the smoke column from the fire was leaning away from him. I had to change the direction of the smoke, so I cut a small horseshoe-shaped fire line into the dirt, dropped a handful of dry pine needles inside it to ignite a flame, then lit it upwind with my flare, so the smoke switched its path and faced the direction the scout was coming from. The flame headed downhill the way I needed it to, slow, contained, predictable to me, terrifying to anybody who didn't understand it. The scout came around the bend towards my position, saw the fire I had started and panicked. He tried to make his way around it, which put him exactly where I needed him to be, fully surrounded by smoke. I snuck down the brush towards him, gripped onto my fire axe, and mentally prepared myself for what I knew I had to do. I understood that it was either me or him. Pure survival. I saw him coughing and trying to wave the smoke away. It was fully covering him, and he probably couldn't see more than a foot in front of him, which made him not know what direction to go to get out of it. I slowly made my way up behind him, stepped into his cloud of smoke, and he quickly turned around and fired his rifle at me. I stepped to the side and got very lucky that he missed. I quickly closed the distance between us and slammed my fire axe into him. He fell over in agony and dropped the rifle. I grabbed the He really looked like a lost, dumb, violent 20-year-old kid. I hated the fact that it had to be me to end him, but I didn't have a choice. He was in extreme pain, so I used his rifle and finished it. I didn't let myself feel anything, then took his rifle, his knife, his binoculars, and his radio. It crackled loudly with Salvador's voice speaking Spanish. I have a Spanish last name, but never learned the language because my mom is American and I was born in Los Angeles, so I had no clue what he was saying. Then there was a long pause. He obviously understood that his scout was no longer with us, and in a calm, eerie tone, "Hello, Mr. Fireman. If you don't turn yourself in to me within the hour, both your wife and friend will die." How did he know we were married? I thought hard about how to handle this, and figured that I might as well challenge him if I wanted to get him away from his crew. I spoke into the radio. "Listen up, you cartel piece of shit. Why don't you come down here and face me yourself, instead of having your men do all the dirty work for you? Are you a scared little bitch that can't do anything on your own? I hoped you'd take the bait. When I catch you, I will torture you in unimaginable ways, then do the same to your pretty little wife and your family." I felt a chill crawl up my spine because I knew he wasn't kidding. I stayed quiet, used the walls for cover from being seen, made my
fucking trays in it.
The second is what's pushing the fire, and the third is what's shaping it. A great firefighter doesn't fight a fire, he reads it. Then he positions himself where it'll do the work for him. I was far from being a great firefighter, but at least knew the basics. I marked if I could lure a cartel guy into the room, I wouldn't have to pull the trigger because the fire would do the job for me. I tried the busted up radio
I'm
account.
fucking bored.
Then it was a little before.
You bet.
Again, it got nothing. Then it was a little before 6 p.m. when a black unmarked helicopter flew in low over the ridge. I watched through the binoculars and counted 6 more cartel guys rolling down. They took 9 men down, and I was just one. And I had 12 hours until the red flag winds turned this entire mountain into a raging firestorm. Salvador ordered the new arrivals to keep loading everything out of the meth lab and put as much as they could onto the black chopper. I figured I had a way better chance at surprising them in the dark, so I sipped on the water I had, being sparing about it, and tried to get some rest. Dusk finally fell. It was time to make my first real move. I used my flames and then controlled the fire in the building wasn't big enough to threaten Mari and Diego and Harry contained. I wouldn't risk that, but it was big enough to be very intense. You're stuck inside a smoke column. You can't see your friend or your enemy. You can barely even see your own hands. The fire made Salvador and his men scatter around in a panic. He got pissed, then sent 5 men in different directions to start looking for me. I started looking. The whole area was fully covered in dense smoke as I got closer to it. It was about 3 minutes later when I heard the fire country was and injured Pedro, Santiago and Perez are gone. Salvador calmly spoke. If you let this pitchy gringo kill anyone, every one of you deserves it. Find him and bring him to me, or I end you myself. I worked my way close enough to the container about 50 yards behind Salvador, and I saw Mari through a gap in the smoke. She and Diego were zip-tied to the edge of the cargo container. I was also able to see inside the 40-foot container and into the edge of the meth lab itself. They had already packed up most of it, but there was still some equipment left over and a whole crate of actual meth that they were storing until the last moment they were leaving with it. I made eye contact with Mari, and she signaled with her eyes towards where Salvador was. That told me all I needed to know about how and where to set another fire. I needed and what I was about 50 feet Salvador smacked me across the face and yelled at me to take them. Then I looked up and saw Mari was that compelled Salvador to look directly at my position. He got up, grabbed his hatchet, and made right towards me. I slid further down into the brush, took a huge breath in, and went dead still. Salvador made his way over to me and searched the area. I could smell his body odor as he got closer and tried to control my breathing. He gripped onto his hatchet and stabbed it into the brush beside me. I froze up and did my very best not to move. I had the knife with my hand. Sweat dripped down my face, and I tasted it along with a mouthful of dirt. Salvatore stepped directly on top of my back. I'll be honest, that's when I closed my eyes and prayed. I really knew God was looking out for me at that moment, because Salvatore was just about to stab his hatchet down into my back when he got called over by one of his guys that had a question about the meth. Close call. I waited in that hole until about 1 a.m. Then, when I knew everyone was asleep, I quietly stood up, snuck over to the top of the and lit another fire. This time, I wanted the smoke to go directly into the meth lab's vent, which would fill the lab with smoke and ruin the meth. Salvador would have to choose between fighting me and saving his product. Most cartel guys would choose to save their product. I lit the fuse and walked away. The flame burst up from the ground, and I took cover behind a tree. I heard shouting in Spanish and saw the cartel guys scrambling towards the container with fire extinguishers and shovels, exactly as I predicted. While they worked hard to put that fire out on that side, I snuck around to the back of the container and cut Mari and Diego loose with my folding knife. I pulled them close and kissed her, then she whispered in a panic. Salvador went down into the lower levels of the container. He's below us. They must have dug out and created several floors underneath this container and turned it into some sort of bunker. The three of us snuck out, made sure the roof was clear, and stepped out of the top floor of the container. As soon as we stepped out, the shells wrapped around us.
Always, 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 always,
ignited the fire even further, and he literally exploded. That got the attention of two other cartel guys, so we didn't wait. We took off running as fast and far away as we could and escaped. When we reached the flat end of tree cover, we stopped to catch our breath. Are you guys okay? Any injuries? Mari held back tears. I'm okay. I looked at Diego, and he just shook his head and raised up his shirt to reveal several cuts and bruises. These guys get off on some sick shit. They're a different breed of evil.
Mom. Mom.
Tell he was feeling really weak. He hit his arm to pick up and spread that fire. By 4 a.m., the prefrontal wings were healed, so we have about 20 minutes to walk out to safer cover area. I can remember back to make sure we were in the clear. My fear and paranoia was on one side of mine. We made it down to the flat red creek, and the initial red flag winds kicked in. We looked up at the fire in seconds. The flames were already 30 feet tall and rolling toward us at 40 miles an hour. The creek ahead was the best ground we could ask for. We were to find some kind of safe ground from the raging fires. It had ledge stones, exposed minerals, running in a thin band down the middle of it, and a low overhang of rock on the south side. We deployed the fire shelter at 5:35. There was only one shelter tent, and all three of us needed to fit inside of it. We all dunked our bodies into the shallow water of the creek until we were all soaked through. We considered all of us just laying in the water creek, but it was too shallow. It wouldn't have protected us. Mari told me, when a fire overruns your position, the only chance you have is to take away the three things a fire needs. Wet ground takes heat, clear dirt removes fuel, and lying flat puts you below the worst of the hottest convection column. Then it's extremely important to hold still as the fire moves above us. The red flag lines arrived 10 minutes early, and the three of us were all laying in the shelter tent, soaked from head to toe. It sounded like a fire speed up in the
Abby.
The temperature slumped to 100 degrees at its peak. I couldn't hear anything but the roaring flames. I couldn't see anything.
Oh shit, I'm live.
I thought, well, if I'm going to die, there's no one better than my wife and best friend to be with. Then I thought about Tate. I thought about Salvador in his bottom bunker.
Yes!
Slowly at first, then faster, the way it does when the bulk of the flames moves on. I lay there for a long time after the worst of it passed, because I knew the second wave of heat would still kill us. Then once that passed by, we all got up, checked our bodies for the damage, filtered through first-degree burns, but we're mostly okay. I saw the sun starting to rise, making the sky a purple reddish tone that was raining ash down on us. Every single tree on the ridge was a charred spike, creating a hellscape. We all hugged each other and held back tears, grateful to be alive, yet so sad about what had happened. Our pathway back towards the nearest radio station that was roughly 6 miles away took us right past the buried container lab. The steel container was glowing red, slumping into itself. Paint mixed turned black. The cartel's evidence had been erased exactly as we saw it. There were several charred corpses scattered around. We left the other cartel guys to burn. I held my rifle as we were walking past the container and stopped cold. Kamari turned to face us and was concerned. What's up? Why are you stopping? I was instantly struck by the thought of Salvador finding out our unit and discovering who we all are. It wouldn't have been that hard for him. Salvador is inside that bottom level bunker. So, we need to finish this. If we let him go, none of us will ever sleep soundly again. Everyone we know will be looking over our shoulder, wondering when he'll show up or send someone to get us. I don't know about you guys, but I can't live like that. He's in that bunker, most likely. These people don't know anything about us. Salvador does. They both thought about us and fixed it.
Fuck! Ah, boy. Ah, boy. Ah, boy. Ah.
As most of the smoke had lifted, the first edge of the morning sun was starting to break over the ridge, and then, at 8:45, the hatch hissed, hydraulic pressure released, the heavy steel door swung open, and Salvador climbed out into the ash. He was sea-streaked, and his shirt was half burned. He was the only one who had seen him at I got one shot in the wrist as I felt his bullet whiz past my head. I saw him clutch his right shoulder and stumble. He turned to face me and started walking directly at me, not caring at all that I had a gun. I fired another shot and missed, then another, and I missed again. Already was extremely nervous, hoping I could finish the job. I cocked the rifle back and realized the bolt action was locked up with ash, and no matter how hard I tried to pull the trigger, the gun was completely jammed. Salvador aimed his gun at us. For all the years I've been working in these woods, and you motherfuckers think you can come in here and ruin my business. He opened fire. We dove, ducked, covered behind the burnt tree stumps, struggling to find one that was tall enough to protect us. His last round grazed my ribs, tore a piece of flesh clean off. He ran up the woods, almost as if the pistol itself ran and turned. He had the look of vicious wounded animal, and the wild-eyed look of a man that planned to kill. We started wrestling back and forth, and once he saw my fire axe, he was desperately trying to steal it from me. He struggled to control the axe, ripped it out of my hands, and started slapping damage off my face. The last split second, he missed by an inch. Then I faked the jab, lowered myself down, grabbed around his midsection, and slammed him backwards into the ground, breaking his ribs and forcing him to drop the fire axe. He grabbed my wounded side, and I almost blacked out from the pain.
Fucking bitch.
Twisted it sideways, then snapped it back. He drove a knee up into my stomach.
Catch it, catch it.
Fire ants. I headbutted him and busted him with his nose. He screamed and let go of the fire axe, giving me just enough time to raise it.
What?
I stood there for a long moment, trying to hold my breathing down. It was quiet about me. Crested the ridge. The smoke had finally cleared enough for them to come in and rescue us. He picked us up, and I could finally breathe easy. I hugged my best friend and kissed my wife. We made it.
Really?
I was so excited when I graduated from the police academy and hugged my mom. Congratulations, sweetheart. I'm sure your father's proudly watching down from the heavens. We shared a hug, and then my Uncle Doyle came over wearing his police uniform hat. He had been my trainer, mentor, and a father figure to me ever since my real dad passed on. Congratulations, son. You ready for your first day? I smiled, beyond thrilled.
Oh, fuck!
I was in the crime scene, staring at my first dead body, trying not to get sick. It was a woman in her early 20s, and her mother was next to me crying. I felt so bad for her. Couldn't imagine what she must have been feeling. I took her hand. You have my word that we will do everything possible to find this bastard. She cried, nodded in appreciation. She noticed skin particles underneath the victim's fingernails, so she could finally applaud the murderer before losing her life. The skin particles were real DNA evidence. Then, while I was comforting the mother, out of the corner of my eye,
Back of my
Uncle Doyle took out a
mind.
bottle of hand sanitizer.
Ew.
Back to how it was. Then he hesitated, turned his head, and saw me watching him. I quickly turned away from him in terror and rushed outside. The captain arrived and ordered the door comes, and Uncle Doyle
Fucking arm.
Bitch
Bitch ass.
He's a cut and dry homicide, most likely an ex-boyfriend. The captain nodded. I was horrified and felt betrayed by a man I thought I knew. He just blatantly lied to his own boss. Uncle Doyle got back into the car, and they drove in eerie silence for what felt like an eternity. Then my stomach dropped. I saw 8 rough fingernail scratches across his forearm that were just barely sticking out below his shirt sleeve. It hit me. Uncle Doyle murdered that girl, and he knew that I saw him hide evidence. I stayed quiet, because what could I really say? The first thing I thought to do was to call my mom, since he was so passionate If you tell anyone what you think you saw, you will become an enemy to me. And do you have any idea what happens to enemies? I shook my head, terrified. My enemies had him face down in the LA River. I felt a chill go up my spine because I knew he wasn't kidding. But I didn't care about his threats. I cared more about truth and justice. So when we returned from the police station, I went straight to the captain's office and told him what I saw. He smirked. You do realize what you're saying is a serious accusation, right? Yes, sir. Of course I do. But I swore an oath to uphold justice, and that's what I plan to do. He stared at me for a while, thinking about what to do, then called Uncle Doyle into his office. Doyle, your nephew here is claiming you destroyed evidence. Is there any truth to that claim? He said it with a hint of sarcasm, not believing in himself. Uncle Doyle snorted. If you call me sanitizing my own hands to food evidence, I guess so. I shared a cold. Then Brenda laughed. Way to go, Columbo. Great job with your investigation, dumbass. Way back to Arden. Obviously, my nephew's son. It's his first day in his first dead body. He was shaking in his boots. Pretty sure. I like. Sure, the little turd pissed himself. Fear makes the mind see weird shit. The captain nodded in agreement with him, and they started talking about football, as if I didn't exist. I left, feeling obviously disappointed. I went straight to my mom's house and told her what I saw, and even she was doubtful. Are you sure he wasn't cleaning his own hands? I mean, that doesn't sound like your uncle at all. He's always been the most honest, stand-up guy I've ever known. You probably just saw it wrong. I clenched my fists, so enraged that no one was believing me. No, I know what I saw, and he's hiding something. The victim clawed at him. I saw the scratch marks on his forearm. No matter what I said to her, she wasn't buying it. He could have gotten scratched from that weird cat he has or something else. I walked out and realized that I needed to build a real case on my own, with legit evidence. I was mad at myself because I should have taken a picture of her fingernails. Uncle Doyle never thinks about modern technology, and wouldn't ever think I would have taken a picture. It's too late now. I called the only person in the city of Los Angeles that I was sure was not LAPD. Maria Cho was a defense attorney who I'd met a few years ago. I called her, and by 11:15 a.m., I was in her downtown office. This is probably not the first time your uncle's done this. Whatever you do next, I highly suggest that you do not go back into your division alone. Let me think about what to do. Go home and wait for my call. I did what she said, went home and sat on my couch. I started to doze off, then heard a loud bang at my front door. Woke up startled and saw a man wearing a ski mask holding a sawed-off shotgun at me. My hands trembled, and my heart was racing a million miles per hour as I went to reach for my gun, but he slammed the butt of the shotgun across my face and knocked me out. I woke up in the trunk of a car in a panic. My wrists and ankles were zip-tied and I couldn't move. I was taught in the academy to control my breathing when in a terrifying situation, so I started taking in long, controlled breaths. The car drove for what felt like about an hour and stopped. I could smell dust and the heat was building up badly. The trunk swung open and I saw blinding yellow lights above. The same man in the ski mask pulled me out and dropped me on the concrete floor of an empty warehouse. He dragged me along the floor and tied me to a radiator pipe. The man pulled off his ski mask and he had a long, jagged scar running down his cheek. He sat across and stared at me for a while, then lit a cigarette. You're probably wondering why I haven't killed you yet, huh? The thought did cross my mind. I might as well be honest with you. After you left the station, your uncle had me tail you, and he said, if you make any moves other than going home, I should grab you, take you out to the desert, and end your existence. So I planned on doing that. Then I got the text about how much he was offering me to do it. 5 grand. Can you believe that bullshit? I am so sick and tired of these corporate cop types that claim to have no money and try and lowball you at every turn. I don't care. I texted him back and said, you better give me 20,000 or I'm not doing it. My uncle was notoriously cheap. Did he respond? Not yet. He took a picture of me tied up and sent it to Doyle. Maybe that'll motivate him to respond a little quicker. His phone rang almost immediately. I was terrified, yet intensely determined to escape. So I tried to dig into the zip ties with my fingernails and was slowly making progress while this guy put Doyle on speaker. Daddy Doyle. He covered the phone.
Get the fuck out! I'm trying to do something.
All this time, Doyle on speaker. Hello, Daddy Doyle. He covered the phone. He hates it when I call him that. You cheap son of a bitch. What kind of bullshit are you trying to pull? I should be asking you that. I'm done being lowballed by you. You either give me 20 grand, or I'm letting your rookie nephew go. Up to you. There was a long pause from Uncle Doyle, as this guy winked at me and waited. Fine. Send me your address. I'll swing by with the cash, you greedy The guy hung up, sent a text, and did the celebratory dance. I was hit hard by the cold, hard reality of the cop life. My own uncle, someone I thought really cared about me, was paying a man to have me killed, and was so casual about it. That seriously enraged me. My guts turned into stone as I kept slicing and slicing my way through the zip ties, praying that I was able to get loose before Doyle arrived. A few minutes later, the warehouse doors swung open, and Doyle walked in with a duffel bag that was filled with cash. He approached his guy with a cold look in his eyes. Here you go, you greedy fuck. Are you seriously calling me the greedy one? You're the asshole that's making serious bank on all of your corrupt side gigs. Watching my own uncle do this gave me a deep sense of rage from how betrayed I felt. Doyle shoved the duffel bag at him. Shut up and count it. The guy kneeled down, zipped open the bag, and pulled out toilet paper rolls. He looked up at Doyle, and the last thing he saw was a gun barrel in his face. Doyle pulled the trigger, then turned and approached me. Pure fear when I saw firsthand what he was capable of doing. You know, I never liked you.
Dumbass, open that shit. Fucking bitch. I'm fucking gonna fucking kill your bitch ass. fuck your ass up, bitch. I'm gonna fucking crash out.
I always thought you were a whiny little self-righteous animal, thinking he's better than everyone. You aren't. You shit twice a day just like everyone else. You just have the worst timing because you happen to start on a day when things are kinda crazy for me. I thought of all the times when he helped me or taught me how to be a cop and got really sad because he used to look out for me. Why did you kill that girl, Uncle Doyle? Because I can get away with it and because I get off on the power. I can't help myself. But my favorite part is watching suckers like you get really close to finding out. Then fatally, you let out a maniacal cackle. Plus, I'm getting tired of people always thinking they can leave me on and then not put out. I'm done letting them get away with it. He checked the bullets in his gun. Well, it's time for you to go, kid. I'll make sure to cry extra hard next to your mother at your funeral. I'll even collect money from the poor family because I'll be so grief-stricken. He laughed again, sucked the gun against my head, and hesitated. I closed my eyes in agony, thinking that the last person I would see before I died was my sick, corrupt asshole of an uncle. Then nothing happened. He was taking too long, and I saw that he was struggling to pull the trigger. You can't kill your own blood, can you? Shut the hell up. I could tell he was serious. He was a very twisted guy, but killing a fellow cop and your own nephew crossed a line for him that he hadn't ever crossed. That's why he tried to pay someone else to do it. You could just let me go. It's never too late to do the right thing. Isn't that what you taught me? He laughed, thinking that it's a ridiculous idea. Hell no. You know too much. He paced in a circle for a few moments, then got an idea, took out his cell phone, and made a call. This is Paul. I caught the guy, red-handed. I have him in custody right now. You won't believe this shit. He's one of our I look like he dug up some serious thing from our tears. My heart's broken because I dreamed of this. He was handsome. He's a psychopath. He needs real help. So that was his plan. Free me for being the killer. He hung up and saw. There it is. It's started laughing. Go ahead. Which one do I use? If I get caught in either one, I'm screwed. I figured I might as well use the hitman's car, especially if Paul had already called the cops and they were on their way. They would definitely be looking for his squad car. Then I heard sirens, looked up, and saw 3 cop cars already approaching. I jumped into the hitman's car and peeled out. We were in the middle of an industrial area, but it wasn't sure if the cops let me take off. That moved down an alleyway. As I was going, one of the cop cars spotted me. Crap. I hit the gas, and the cop cars peeling out, turning down an alleyway and speeding towards me.
Oh, she will wait. She's so heck. I was
Many cars as I could. I thought about pulling over, but it would be my word against yours. I knew that I didn't
Just one more game.
I had to figure it out.
No more, no less. One more game. One more game. One more game.
One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game. One more game.
Just one more game. No more, no less. One more game. One more game. One more game. more game, one more game, one more game, one.
Red light. Green light. Red light. Green light. Red light. Green light.
I ducked into alleys and hopped in a cab. I needed to make it to my lawyer.
Red light.
Chose off. Scared the heck out of me. I climbed in.
Green light.
What the hell did you do?
Red light.
She had the TV.
Green light.
She stared at me like I was guilty. Thought it was setting me up. She was
Red
skeptical.
light.
I'm sorry. I have worked very
Green
hard
light.
for the last 10 years. I can't be seen harboring a fugitive.
Red light.
What the hell? It was before you.
Green light.
But I have to turn you in. She
Red
pulled a
light.
handgun out of her jacket and aimed it at me.
Green light. Red light. 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 Green light.
I was betrayed yet again.
Red light.
She was the one person